Hi guys, welcome to the flight today as we're in KOLKATA, and we're going to be doing our return back to Paro. See what we can make of it today. Let's see what we can do down in the DrukAir. We've got the 737-700. Going to be using the Tomcat takeoff performance. We've got the FSLTL in as well, so we've got all the live traffic around us. And we're also going to configure the aircraft for the RNAV approach coming in through the valley. We're not going to do the circle to land, we're going to come straight through the valley for the back end for 1.5, and we'll see if we can make up for the previous flight that we did in the Airbus with Paro. So we've got everything on board, GSX is there loading up all the bags. We've got the Tomcat takeoff performance for our performance on takeoff, going to be leaving out a 01 right, coming in for runway 15 on the RNAV approach. So we'll get inside the cockpit, start the aircraft up and get ready to leave for a eventful flight to Paro. So here we are in the 737-700, going to be using a back view so you get a little bit more of the cockpit today when we rise. So we'll set the aircraft up, we'll get the emergency exit lights, the chimes, fasten seatbelts which can go on. The irises are aligned and all ready to go. Check the flight recorder and test the flaps, which are set. Don't need to set the lighting. Get the window heaters on, voice recorder can go on. Get the packs to auto. Get the APU bleed on, ready for when we start the APU. Position lights are on and checked. We'll get the one pump in, and now we'll start the APU up, ready to go. So we'll use the Tomcat takeoff performance today, as I haven't used it in a little while. So just give a little bit more into the FMC for the takeoff on the performance. So we'll go in and get the IRS position, which is Victor Echo Charlie Charlie. We'll get that from the first GPS for the left side. Punch that through, so the IRSs are on quicker line, as we can see. We've got our routing, etc., which is all in. On the departure, we're leaving out 01 right, and we're going to be taking the Gondi 2 X-ray, or the 2 Echo, should I say. For the routing on today's flight, we're going to be going for the Romeo 472. That's going to take us to Raj, and then from Raj we take the Romeo 598, which will take us to Bogop. And then Bogop is where we're going to come in for the arrival for 1.5. So we're going to be taking the Bogop 1 Alpha. We're coming in for the RNAV arrival, which we've got right here. I'm going to be taking the back end today. When it loads up, we'll get the chart up. So we're going to be taking the RNAV Zulu. We'll be transitioning for the Papa Romeo 777 or the Papa Romeo 818. Either way. So let's just go in and get that. So we've got the RNAV Zulu for 1.5. Papa Romeo 777. As that's where we're going to come straight in for the initial approach fix, and then we'll punch that, activate that up, and that's our routing all done for the aircraft. We'll request the perf, and then near the end we'll get the runway slope and everything in for the takeoff performance. We've got a D-rate takeoff as well today, which we'll take for 01 right. Overhead APU is now ready to go. Switch that over onto the buses, which is checked. The APU bleeds in. Okay, perf's ready. I'm going to go for 350 on the ascend up. 350, which is checked. Cost index is going to be 12. Top of climb is going to be 26169 on our winds, and the ice is going to be minus 44. There's minus 44, no descent path after 08, that's fine, we'll be disconnected before then. Over onto our N1 limit, we've got the top cap, which will drag up now. So on the top cap, we're going to be taking a D-rate takeoff of 1, and we're going to be going for a, on our saying we can take a D-rate of 50. Okay, which is fine. There we go. 87.2, 87.3, which is in, and we're going to be taking out climb on the climb out. So for the takeoff, we're doing flaps 1. Center of gravity is there. We've got 132, 133, and a 136, which is just about right by 1 knot. So 136, which will punch in, which is checked. Flight directors can now come on, which are set. Auto throttle can be armed. Auto brake to RTO. Get 350 bugged in as well. Okay, there's 350, which is already in and set. Get all of our pumps in, yaw dampers. Forward doors just need to be closed, which we can tell ready to go. Okay, so that should leave us in a minute. Ground power can be released, and now we'll see everything pulling back. So we've got the FSLTO in, so all the aircraft are live inside the simulator. Electric hydraulics can now go on. Got 350 and airport's elevation coming into Paro today. Airport's elevation is 7364. Okay, so I'll leave it to 7600, which is fine. Everything else is already in set to go. TA can go on, which is checked. Leaving out the departure, we should be able to get LNAV, and we'll do VNAV on the way up, which is fine. QNH is leaving out. We've got 1016, and winds are going to be 010 at 7 knots. So headwind really of 7 knots, which is going to be okay. So I'm going to go in and see if we can get a pushback done. So I'll remove the chocks, we'll set the parking brake, which is checked, and we'll see if we can get the pushback ready for our departure. So boarding's completed, prepare it now, ready to go. I'm just going to go outside just to double check everything's all there. So ready for pushback. Whilst we wait for that, we'll go in and get the runway slope, etc. for the runway heading.
Hello, Captain, we are ready for pushback.
That's fine by us. So 007 going to be for the runway and wind. So we've got the 010 at 7. Okay, runway slope is 0.0. Takeoff speeds will be deleted.
Departure check completed. Bypass pin inserted.
Okay. So now the bypass pin's been put in. Just waiting for the guy to come up, and then we can get ready to leave. Hopefully he'll push us back. Get the aircraft ready and set. So packs can be turned off, which are checked. APU gen, which is on. Probe heats will come afterwards. Electric hydraulics are all in and set for us as well.
Locking gear.
Okay, he's locking the gear in. Okay, so we'll see if the pushback does work today. Do the quick edit just so we can see. So it's activated at gate 4, so let's hope that it will work today.
Release parking brakes.
Okay, so we're going to go a bit wonky.
Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
Okay, so we are pushing back, which is nice to see. So ground can go on for engine number 2. Okay, 25% will inject fuel. Visibility is not all that great down here in KOLKATA today. 25%, engine number 2 now in. And EGT is now starting to increase. Okay, 56%, we get the starter cut out back, then we can go for engine number 1.
Set parking brakes.
Okay, parking brakes
Waiting
out.
your confirmation for good engine start.
There,
Cockpit
good
to
in.
ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Okay, engine number 1 now coming in. %, we get fuel in.
Unlocking gear.
So we're going to taxi straight ahead up onto Delta, cross over 01 left, and then we'll be all ready and set to leave.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed. Left is clear. Right is clear.
Okay, so everywhere's clear now. Both engines are fired up and checked, so move over the gen buses, go over to gen 1, get the probes in, packs to auto, isolation valve will go to auto. Engine bleeds can go on with the APU bleed, which can go off along with the APU, and we are now ready to go. Engine start switch to continuous. Tell the cabin that we are ready to leave, and that is us all ready and set for our departure. So we're going for flaps 1 and centre of gravity is 4.82. Okay, so we'll say about there, 4.82, which is fine, and we are now ready to go. So Marshall's moving off. So we get ready and set to leave. Do our flight control test. Full left, full right, full forwards, full backwards, rudder left and rudder right, which is all checked and set. Before taxi checklist, flaps 1, green light, auto brake set to RTO, which is checked and set. Packs auto, bleeds are on. Engine start switch continuous, cabin's been advised, and we are now ready for taxi. So, I'm going to release the parking brake, take this little right onto taxiway, and then we're going to ride up to Delta. So with the FSLTL we can see that it does bring the traffic up on the navigational display, which is nice to see. There's an aircraft coming into land right now. We're going to be going out from 01 right as well, as he lands into the fog. We're going to come around onto Delta. So all live traffic in at the moment. There's Delta right there, which we're going to take, so we're going to come back around from this way. And we'll take a left back on. So I don't know what's wrong with my rudder pedals. They're definitely going to play something when we try to turn around, but we'll taxi off at the end after we leave 1-5. There's Delta right there to cross over for 01 right. We'll come in on the start then. So it's a very short taxi. There's Delta right here on this right hand turn for us. One thing that I do need to do just before we do go is I need to just set up the FSLTL and set up the profile, link that, link it. Okay, so that should be okay for us. Oops. So we'll come over to the stand, ready for the hold short. Make sure that all traffic's clear. Now put the profile in, that should be okay. So I've just got to set up the FS realistic one more time, and then we're all ready to go. Accidentally turned it off, so just get that back in. Okay, so that should be all connected. We'll go over, put the strobes on now, which are checked, anti-collision lights which are all on, cabin should be ready. clear left and clear right. So there is going to be live traffic coming in on this 01 right as well. So at the moment there isn't numbers, we can't see no traffic on the inbound display. But we'll see a lot of traffic as we climb out up to 350. So all of that's going to work today, which should be very nice to see. When we leave outbound, we're going to make a slight left deviation, which will take us on to 350. We've got the takeoff D-rate 1 with a flex temp of 50, which gives us 83.3%, and V rotate is going to be at 132. So we'll taxi up, line up onto the runway. So cabin crew, take your seats for departure. Okay, we just checked. Probably have to go into the FS realistic thing just for the lean. Apart from that, that should be okay for us. So we'll go ahead, get landing lights, runway turn off lights, which are all on and set. We're all cleared to go. So all we have to do now is we'll push forward onto the column, up to 50%, and then toga out. Okay, stabilised and toga. So the D rate's going to come in, which is going to be about 86%. Got climb, which is going to come straight in as well, straight up to 350. So airspeed alive, check, throttle hold, 100 neutral on the column. Rotate.
Positive rate of climb.
Gear up. As we leave lovely KOLKATA. A little bit of turbulence out on the departure. It's quite hazy here, so I should imagine the dew point's quite close to the outside air temperature. What I need to do is go into FS realistic to stop the yaw. So there's climb power coming in now. It's going to be a lot higher than the D rate as we now go up to climb. So we'll get the trimming so we can start to speed the aircraft up. And we're going to make a left hand turn which takes us on to the 350. So gear can be turned off, auto brake can be turned off, speed check, flaps 1, which is there, flaps up can now go off as well. Just need to sort out the yaw. Apart from that, should be fine. Okay, flaps up, which is checked. Then climb to 250. There's an aircraft right there, just over to our left. Okay, so that's all checked for us. CMDA can go in now. Something down in here needs to be moved. For some reason this ain't working. Passing through 6,000 feet, we'll go up for 250, which should be nice and checked for us. Okay, runway turn off lights can be turned off, which are checked. Seatbelt signs can go off after 10,000 feet. Now heading on to the 350. What I'm going to do is I'll pull the mouse out and see if that will get us back control of the aircraft. So that should come back in. A little bit of turbulence. Passing through 10,000 feet, land lights can be turned off, cabin has been released. Let's pass through 11,007. So we're going to go up to flight level 350. Okay, so I know by now it's going to need to go into our path. Something's been tapped, which is why it won't show any of ours. Climb up, so 5 times above, 37 all the way to 8. So if something hasn't been executed over here, the M1 that was in has climbed 2. That's why the mouse isn't working. It could be going to the PER 350, which was there. Let me just bang that one more time. That might execute it. Not too sure why. There's something that's hanging that wants the aircraft's attention. It'll calculate its altitude and everything now. Now it's back off, but some reason the mouse ain't working for some reason, so So just passing through 17,000 on our rapid climb up to 350. I'm going CFS realistic. Let's have a look at the yaws. QNH service is standard, was checked. I don't know why the aircraft, I don't know why it keeps wanting to go over to the left for. Not really too sure why that's happening. Pass through 20,000, 15,000 to go. Okay, on climb out checklist, so we've got CMDA which is checked, land lights are off after 10,000 feet, Paxter auto bleeds are on, cabin's been disarmed, so they are out and about, it's going to do what they please. As we now make our way to flight level 350. So from what I can remember, something's been triggered. I'm not sure if it's a GSX. Something's been triggered, which is causing the view to go slight left. Now if I knock out if it's realistic, will that view still go left? Yes, the view's still going left for some reason, not too sure why. Not sure why at all. Something's obviously triggered it, something that's been pressed that needs to be sorted, I should imagine. Okay, there's our altitudes all set in. So I'm not sure, something's causing it to happen, but not much I can really do right now. Okay, so we're going to take a right hand turn now onto the 035. It's plotted with flight level 300 now. So passing through flight level 320 now. Okay, 350, here we are now. Hey BK, my man. Good afternoon, mate. Hope you're doing well, pal. I had a nice weekend, thanks, pal. Hope you did too. Not too long now till we come into runway 15. We're going to come in from the back end, so it's going to be a we haven't got to do the spin around onto 15. We can just do the straight from the back end and then proceed on in. So I'll put 10,002 just to continue that descent. That's going to be our minimums for when we do come in on the approach. We're just not long till the top of descent now. The Papa Romeo 808 is pretty much by the runway, so we're going to disconnect at 10,320 feet. The elevation is going to be 7,326, 7,663 I think. So we're only going to be about 2,700 feet or so when we disconnect. Then we'll just fly it straight through the valley and get in for that lovely 15 approach. We'll see if we can get the aircraft down nice and smooth today and a bit more controllable than we did before. So I thought we'd do a part 2, as we'd say, as we come in. So I'm going to set the flight recorder replay system up now, so then we can get a nice wing view approach in as well at some point. So, not too long now to the top of it, 35 nautical miles, then we start to bring her down into lovely Paro. So I've got auto brake, which is going to be max. Get down the arrival. It's only going to be burning around 0.4 till we get down to runway. Fuel now 6.5, 0.4 to 6, which is going to be our 0.4, so 56.1. And we've got flaps 30, which will give us we've got 10 knots, so it's 170 at 10 knots down in Paro. We'll take a flaps 30, which should be for 131, so plus 5 will be a 136. Should be nice and calm, a bit more stable today than when we've done it in the 800, coming in really heavy. Max auto brake will slow us down rapid. We're going to go down to the end as well, so probably auto brake number 3 would probably be alright, but we'll do auto brake max just for time being, just for reference sake. Anti-ice, which I forgot to switch on, which is now on and set. So the aircraft's fully ready to come down. It's fully configured all the way down, following the RNAV all the way into runway 15. So we come through at Bogap. Once we go to Bogap, we'll make a left-hand turn to the 332, which will drag us to 354 for the Papa Romeo 777. From that point onwards for the RNAV Zulu approach, we're going to then come round the bend, past the Papa Romeo 728, there's a Papa Romeo 799, and then we're going to basically swing round onto a left-hand bend, and that'll be us in on the approach. Our initial approach fix, which is the Papa Romeo 777, and the Papa Romeo 818 is our initial fix. Once we come down, we've got a minimum set. We'll set the required navigational performance to 0.30 for runway 15 and 33. We've got the minimum set for 10.320, which when we disconnect is going to be around 3,000 feet, just under 2,960 feet or so when we disconnect. Down our points, there's the left arc onto the 812. We'll disconnect when we get to 10,320. I'll put 10,002, so we continue descent. We'll disconnect just beforehand as we're well into the valley by then. And at 13,800, max 145. So by the time we get to the Papa Romeo 816, we should be at 13,800, which we'll check. And we're going to make sure that it does go to the 1800 and not above, which is checked in. And it'll be at 145 knots, which will be max. So we'll put max 145, so we should be fully configured for arrival by the time we come in there. That will hold us 145 until we come down for the approach, and there's the approach, which is going to be, once it realigns itself, there's runway 15, so it says 7 degrees, it's 3.50. Papa Romeo 808 is pretty much right here, but we're going to be disconnected rolling in, so we don't need to go that far, unless we're obviously going to do a go around, etc. So that's all fine there. That's all good for us. 145, there's our 136 for the +5 for 131 for the arrival. Hey Kevin mate, hello pal. Hope you're doing well my man. Good evening to you mate. Yeah, I'm doing really well, thanks pal. How about yourself? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It does jam up from time to time. So it's just one of them things. I don't know why. I think I had the bitrate on like 16,000, so that could have been one of the reasons why the stream crashed as well. Putting the flight recorder replay system on as well, that really probably did put quite a lot of strain onto the RAM. So I've turned that back down to 12,000, which seems to be right. I think the screens are a bit fuzzy because the upscale resolution from 1440 was put down for some reason. So I've lifted that up to 1440 with it, and the screen seems to be all right on the stream. You can see them, etc. So we're passing down now. Passing through 320. Seatbelt signs are on. We'll tell them to get ready to go. We've got a flight altitude which is 350, 7600, which is setting on the landing altitude, which is fine for us. We're past 10,000 feet. We've got the engine start switch to continuous once we ride into the valley. So this is the valley that we're going to ride into right now, that we're going to get the aircraft prepared for. 10,200 feet set on the MCP altitude. Currently tracking inbound onto 031. Then once we make that left-hand turn, it'll be pretty much us going on to the 332. So it says no descent path after Papa Romeo 808. That's because it's right by the runway. That's great, Kevin. Glad you're doing well, mate. Just in time to see the 700 crash. No, it's not really. Hopefully we'll try to get it nice and smooth as possible. With the 700, it should be nice and relaxed, nice and straightforward on the approach as we come down. Hey Viper, good evening pal. Hope you're doing well mate. So we can see the speed's just creeping a little. I'll allow that because once we turn in it should be a bit more of a headwind coming in on that left hand turn, which is slow. So we've got the decel there, we can open the speed brakes then. Just remember, as we're in VNAV path, the faster we start speeding up, the more our descent rate is going to increase as well. So we're just hitting the altitude restraints. The aircraft will start slowing itself down at some point. Yeah, I don't really use the flyby, mate, so couldn't really comment. I had a go of it the other week, the Neo, and it wasn't too bad. The input controls are a lot more less sensitive as they was. The aircraft doesn't do a rapid pitch up to the air, so that's not too bad, I guess. But no, I can't really comment how good it is. But if you want something that's a bit more on, I'd say just get the Phoenix. Just get the Phoenix A320. Yeah, I know, better not say it too loud, BK. I'll have the passengers all in there bracing. Yeah, we haven't got the speed brakes now, we're going to go on to the 332. Yeah, with the Xbox on Microsoft Flight Simulator, you know, obviously using the controller to sort of like do things instead of the mouse, so it is a little bit different. But if you have any problems with it, pal, just let me know, because the simulator is still the same regardless of the Xbox or the PC. It's just you have to use the content manager, whereas on the PC obviously you can get more direct external things. Yeah, that's the only thing with the fly-by-wire. I don't find it very practical in terms of the Phoenix. I mean, the only difference is obviously with the engines. That is literally the only difference with the engine option. That you've got the Neo there, so it's just one of them things. So we're on the 332 track now, and then we're going to make a slight left deviation, so we don't worry about that. That's going to be the fix at the runway, which we're not going to even be near. So 313 and then the 354 back into that arc. Passing through flight level 2404-180, and we said the QNH is down. Once we put it in with the forecast was 1021. So we'll punch that in and get that up as well. Oops. There we go, 10320. And 1021, which is in and checked. So we can see the aircraft bobbing about, wings are flapping away. Well, the Phoenix would be better than the fly-by-wire. Obviously it's a pay-where aircraft, so it's going to have more things implemented. You know, fly-by-wire is free where the Phoenix isn't, so I would have expected the Phoenix to be a lot better in comparison than the fly-by-wire. So we're going to dip into the valley and then run right around the back end. The Papa Romeo 818, we need to be at 13,004 and at 145 max knots, so the aircraft will be fully configured gear down in its landing state when we do come down at that point. So it's going to be a nice arrival. We don't have to do the circle to land, so it's not going to be too much stress and workload coming over onto over 3-3. So we just spin around and then come straight through the valley. It should let you go from the terminal. It should let you go from the terminal, mate. Especially if you can get like the A320 and that in there. There should, I don't know how you push back. There should be a pushback feature, but it should let you go from the terminal. If it don't, it could just be because it doesn't have a pushback system to push you back, but it should do. It's a bit strange, that one. The Airbus should be very simplified than the 737 to set up, because obviously it's a lot more automated than the 737. 737's more manually operated in terms of like there's a lot more things to punch in, etc. You know, the Airbus you've got auto trim, so you don't have a trim button. The Airbus automatically does that, so it holds your pitch, which is quite nice, sort of like the CSW on the autopilot for the 737, the CWS, the control wheel steering. That's alright, BK. Don't worry. We'll try not to alert the. We'll try not to scare the passengers. We'll try not to scare them. 2,000 feet, and then we'll activate the QNHs back over. So enjoy the arrival, guys. Haven't done this approach, this RNAV approach through the back end. I've always done it doing the circle to land straight over the runway and then into the mountains, but we're going to be coming from that direction just from the back end, so we'll deviate now off to the left instead of going straight over. and then we'll should see the lovely airport once we disconnect at 10,002. There's our flaps up speed, which we're going to hold now, and then just before we go into that right hand bend, we'll start to get the aircraft done. It should fly properly, mate. Could be input error, maybe you might put something wrong in. You know, if it does, just follow exactly what I do on the flights, because the flights are always the same how I set up the 737. They never change. It's the exact same way. Just watch one of the videos, even this, after it's finished, and just watch how the aircraft's set up, especially like the FMC bit where we put the routing in, align the IRS. If you watch that little bit on the video, you'll definitely be able to make sure the aircraft does what it does. Make sure you've got the right transition points when coming in for your approach through the charts, and the aircraft should line up straight up with the runway. Okay, so there's a Papa Romeo 818, which is right there, 13,008 at 145. So our next fix, we need to be at 185 now. So I'm going to drop the speed down, get the flaps 5 in. That should hold us then for 1.8. Ah, it's wicked, Kev. It's wicked, mate. At least you've got the flight simulator now, and you can have a good old crack at it as well. Okay, so here we come. Under 210 in the 737-700, we can go to flaps 10 if we really needed to. So I'm not sure how this is going to pan out, but we should be alright. Yeah, VNav's already set up, the approach speeds are already in, flaps 10 can go down. It's going to say the same position as flaps 5. Yeah, everything's all set up accordingly. 185 all the way until 730, and then 159 to 145. So the aircraft's slowly now slowing down. There's the next decel, which will be for 145. So we'll be fully configured, I should imagine, for landing. Got a VREF 30 plus 5, which is 135. I'll hold 160, as we are going to go down to 145 now. So I'll let the speed bleed off a little. Auto brake max is in. So let's have a look and see what the arrival was saying. Looks nice. Scenery's nice down here. So I'll do it in two views. I'll do a back view and I'll do the side view here, and we'll do a little wing view as well. So runway's going to come back into view at any moment now. Hey, thanks Viper. Thank you for joining, pal. Thanks to everyone that joined this evening. It was a really nice flight to Paro, and I think we've redeemed ourselves now. So there's the view we'll do there. Yeah, it was a nice view, nice scenery, and she came down quite nice as well. So it wasn't a bad flight. Wasn't a bad flight at all. I'll do a wing view after, so you guys can see the wing view. Hey, thanks, Mateo. Appreciate it, pal. Thanks for joining me this evening, mate. We'll be back again tomorrow. We'll be back around 5 to 6 PM for another flight. Yeah, I'm going to do this view, and then we're going to do the wing view, mate. Oh, very nice. Very nice indeed. Thanks, Kev. If you go on to direct flights, type it in on Google and so you'll see there's a website. It should be the top one. It will show you a live map. If you pick Nice, it will show you all of the direct real-world routes that go out of there with the airlines as well, and it will give you quite a nice pick of all of the routing for that airport. Because that's what I do to do the real-world flights. Then punch that in on SimBrief and create the flight plan. And then we're all ready to go. So try that out, and that should be quite nice. So I'll swing both views here, so you guys can see we swing a left and a right. So enjoy the wing view arrival, guys. You see the shadow of the aircraft just coming over. Yeah, you're more than welcome, pal. That's what I use anyway, so that'll show you all the real world routes that leave from Nice, and then it pick out like little blue dots of all the destinations from Nice to there, which you can then click one and it will show you the airline that it uses. It'll give you the flight number. It's just like if you was going to book a real world flight, but you can use that for the flight number and the routing as well, so it's quite handy to have. So thanks for tuning in today, guys. Do appreciate the support that you show to the channel and join me on these flights. If you want to see any like sort of tricky flights, just leave it in the comment section below this video and I'll be sure to have a crack at it, as I do enjoy doing some tricky approaches. Paro is a tricky one. It's all about timing and just being precise with your turns. There's the runway just coming into view, into that right hand bend. Basically what overspeed means is you're going over the overspeed, basically, like you're crossing the limits of the speed that's safe for the aircraft, pretty much. Like if you was going to do Mach decimal 8 at flight level and you put in 8.83 and you went over speed, you're just over speeding on the aircraft's configuration, etc. It's basically the limitations of the aircraft. It's wicked, mate. Lisbon, lovely arrival. Lovely arrival, Lisbon is. It's got some nice scenery down there too. So I'm going to leave you guys now with the turnaround, and I hope you enjoyed the flight. Thanks for everyone that tuned in this evening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and click that bell so you don't miss any future flights. And I'll see you guys very soon for the next flight tomorrow. We'll be back around 6 PM. So I'll see you guys all soon. Take care, stay safe, and have a great evening. Just open up the speed brakes, Kev. That'll slow you down.